picking up good vibrations.
Hi everybody, Alex Appro here from Expert Forex, and in this video I'm going to introduce a brand new Metatrader charting system, and you can see it on the screen there, and I'm going to go into it in a lot more detail. You'll see that it resolves many of the existing problems that are in place on Japanese candles as well as bar charts. So on your screen you can see the battlefield candles. There they are. They're based on a battlefield philosophy, and then at the bottom here we have the Japanese candles in their traditional format, and I'm going to go through the differences in quite a bit of detail. Okay, so again here we see the two types of candles, and let's go through the Japanese candles. The Japanese candles monitor a few things. They monitor the high that the price has moved to, the low that the price has moved to, where the price opened in the period of the candle and where it closed in the period of the candle, and then it gives you an indication of what the price movement was, the net price movement was during the candle. And all of this information is based on price movement. So when you look at Japanese candles, you are looking at price movements, and that is the philosophy that you are using when you trade those candles. Now there's another group of charts called the battlefield charts, and they take a different view. Let's have a look at what information that provides. So it looks at the same range that the other candle has traded, but it gives it a different perspective. It actually looks at it as a buyer and seller war, where the buyers are competing against the sellers and moving the price all over the place. So if one had to look at the original Japanese candle, it opened over there. Now we're not too worried about the order of in which this happens, but what we know for sure is that the buyers pushed the price up to that high level. The buyers pushed the price up there. At that point, the seller said, no, enough, and they pushed the price right down to over here. The sellers pushed the price right down over here. And at that point, the buyer said, no, this is enough, and then pushed the price to that point where the candle closed. Now, it could have happened in reverse. The sellers could have pushed the price down here to that point, and the buyers could have pushed the price up there to that point, and then the sellers would push the price down to that point. Doesn't really matter, but what we do know is that over the period of the candle, the sellers gained that much of the battlefield. In other words, they won that much of the battlefield. The full length of the candle is a battlefield, and they claimed that because they moved the price from over there down to there. The buyers, on the other hand, managed to push the price up from over there, so they gained that section of the battlefield. So now the candle that you see on this side is actually showing the gains made by the sellers and the gains made by the buyers, and that level there is the maximum buyer advance. So in other words, the buyers could not get past that particular point, and therefore that is actually a very important point, because that's a major level of resistance, and the sellers push the buyers down from that level. The same thing here. This is a major point of support, because the buyers managed to push the sellers up. So this is the seller's maximum advance is there, buyer's maximum advance there. Those are the gains made by the sellers, and those are the gains made by the buyers. Now, interestingly enough, that line there is where the current war is happening. It is the front. It is where the battle is occurring. And that is also an important area, because once we start linking these areas with various other candles, they start making sense. But this candle, if you look at it from a battle perspective, tells you much more of what has happened during the period of that candle. And let's say it's a 1 hour candle. This one basically shows you the price movement. This one shows you the battle and how it transpired and who the winners are, and clearly the sellers were the winners here. So let's look at another example, and here's an example of a Japanese candle, big wicks on both sides, small red body over there. So what could have happened here is that the price opened over there, the buyers pushed the price right to that level, then the seller said no more further and pushed the price all the way down to that level. Buyers then said, no, you're not getting past this point, we're going to push you right back to almost where we started. And that is exactly what happened. So the battlefield was fought, and as you can see, there were no clear winners or losers. And here is the other view of the battlefield. The sellers gained this particular area, so they gained from up there right down to that level. They gained that much, and the buyers gained that much. So the sellers were slightly ahead of the buyers, as you can see there, and that is a much better representation of the war that took place than that particular one. So what is quite interesting is that a lot of the Japanese candles actually give the same battle different forms. Here's a Japanese candle that started over there. The buyers pushed it up, but then the sellers pushed it right down, and then the buyers said, no, you can't get past this point, and pushed it all the way up there, and therefore the sellers basically gained that section and the buyers gained that section, and that's why you see the red piece there and the blue piece there. Now the same thing could have happened here. The price could have opened over here. The buyers pushed the price right up to that level. Then the seller said no more, and pushed the price all the way down to there. And then the buyers pushed the price right up to that level. So the same is shown here. This is the area that the buyers gained. This is the area that the sellers gained, and that is the level where the battle is taking place at the moment. But they are two totally different candles. So that is why the battlefield candles are so more representative of the actual war that's taking place. Now this is an introduction video, and essentially it was to let you know about the new candle formation charts that will be available pretty soon. This was an educational one to show you how they work, and on your screen you can again see the charts in action. In future videos we're going to start looking at, when you look at them on a chart, how you can tell support and resistance and those kind of things from those battle zones, which could be the zone where there's wars taking place, or the zones where rejection or happens either as support and resistance. So here is the format of the actual charts, and you can actually read the activity in each particular time zone a lot better, I find. Now in future videos we're going to be looking at some variations of this particular charting system. We're going to be looking, and what we've been looking at the moment is this variation, but there are 3 other variations we'll look at. The first one says, well, if red has won that battle, then maybe the whole candle should be red. So we can have a look at a charting system where the winner of the battle nominates the whole range of the candle to be red. The second one is only the one section of the chart is shown. So only the biggest winner of that particular candle, only that section is shown, the rest is ignored. So that's another charting alternative. And then there's the third one, which I personally like, is the one section is shown, and then the one that has actually gained less than the winning section is just shown as a wick. But those will be shown in future videos. Now thank you very much for watching this video. What I'd like you to do is give me an idea of what you think about this new charting system, and also about the new variations of that particular charting system. They'll become clearer as we go along and as we discuss these charting systems in more detail. And many traders will find them a little bit strange because they're used to the traditional Japanese candlesticks, but you will agree that these are way more informative than the Japanese candlestick formations. And also, what are we actually trading? We're trading the battle between the bulls and the bears, and that is exactly what these charts show. If you do have any questions, comments, please make them in the comment section of this particular video, and I'm looking forward to the next video where we'll go into a lot more detail. From me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.